there's been a talk of, well, there has been, as we know, incomings at Arsenal, but also there's been talk of outgoings, and Thomas Partey is one of those players that has been linked with a move away. But Mikel Arteta, the Arsenal boss, has spoken about how actually important he is to remain at the club. In terms of what Thomas Partey brings, would he be a big miss if he was to leave?
I think so. I think if you get a Thomas Partey fit and, he's defensively very good, reading situations. He's a really good passer of the ball. He can come out. He doesn't try anything too difficult. A solid, defensive midfield player. If he can maraud forward at times, but a really, really good player. And if you can imagine a Partey, a Rice in the, a part of that three in the middle of the park, maybe an Odegaard as well to come in there. Saka either side of, and Saka and Martinelli either side of Jesus. You've got real good players, and then the likes of Havertz have come in, and Declan Rice is a brilliant signing for Arsenal, because I think he takes them to a different level. I think.
Why? What's he bringing then?
Well, he just brings a little bit of assurance. He's quality. He wins the ball. He's a ball winner. When you're chasing it back, he'll get on his backside and slide tackle. He'll win the ball back for you and just give it to the nearest man. Again, doesn't try and overdo things. Plays within what his capabilities are. He can get around the pitch, up box to box. He's not renowned for his goal scoring, but he might just have the assurance of the responsibility. To go more forward. Yeah. With Partey sitting, he might just sometimes when he feels like it, he can just take the ball forward, take you up the pitch as well at the same time, and then defensively, Saliba. Gabriel, two solid centre backs. Zinchenko at left back, obviously keeping Kieran Tierney out of the side. Ben White at right back, who they brought in as a centre half, 50 million. Really good young goalkeeper in Ramsdale. And you can't help but, I'm going to say it, you can't help but think, sorry, I've hit that mic again. You can't help but think that last season was such a good opportunity for Arsenal. Yeah, it really, really was. And I don't want to say that was a real disappointment for them, because they put themselves in a position at one stage. I think they were something like 6 points ahead with a game in hand. It was in their hands, really. But you have to give Man City credit. They came like a train. In the end, you had a feeling that they would time it perfectly. They're up against the Champions League winners, who I think we all knew with Haaland and Grealish was in form, and that City were going to come and be a real test. They were never going to hand the title to Arsenal. But I can't help but thinking last season, I'm not saying their chance has gone, because they've looked to bounce back, and I think the demands that I'm hearing Arteta, he knows what he wants. He's very stern in terms of his players' performances and criticism when they need to be criticised, and praised when they need to be praised. But he's got some extra quality. He signed Havertz, he's brought in Declan Rice, may keep hold of Partey, and obviously they are stronger than what they were last season with them players in the team. Yeah,
obviously there's been an improvement with Arteta and Arsenal, because it was the first time they finished runners-up, I think, since 2015, 16.
Back in the Champions League as well. They've been out for a while, If
you look back to the season prior, when, again, they were in pole position to finish in the top four, they faded.
And the season before.
Yeah, so they've had that problem of fading, and that, again, has happened the last season, which, on paper, we can still say it's been a great improvement for Arsenal. But how do they learn from that? Because they haven't learned as of yet to stop that sort of fade towards the end of a season. How can they kick on and make sure that, if they can win the Premier League this coming season?
Yeah, well, they have to try and keep up the performances. They have to keep, that winning mentality where, probably as Man City players, that they almost know they're going to go out and they're going to win. They feel so confident in the players around them as well. You look at when the game is at a little bit of a lull, you know that Grealish might just beat a player and roll it back to Haaland, and I just think it's not a criticism, by the way, for the Arsenal fans listening. This is not a criticism. It's a case of, let's not forget they finished second to the best team on the planet.
Yeah.
So it took a Man City unbelievable run after a relatively sort of in and out sort of first half and middle part of the season, where City knew they had a lot to do, by the way, but they turned it on, hence winning the Champions League. So Arsenal, as I said, they've added. They'll have to call on Jesus to have a really good season. If your striker can get you 30 goals, you know, Saka, Martinelli delivering for you. So in terms of how do they do it, they just have to keep up. When they get in that position again, they have to learn from this season. And they have got, there is a lot of positives. They are back in the Champions League. Mm-hmm. You know, they in terms of Man City, they went to Man City away, the Etihad, and they got thumped, didn't they? I think it was 4-5, I think it was, or something like that. And that's when City showed for me how far ahead they were of the rest. You know, and it'd be interesting to see this season with Man City not done a lot of work in terms of the transfer market.
Yeah, that's true.
Haaland, can he repeat those 50 goals? You might not get 50, you might get 70 this year.
Yeah. Yeah. God, don't say that. Can you imagine?
But no, I'm just tongue-in-cheek there. But I think maybe, you know, Haaland will definitely get you 30, 35 goals.
It's incredible.
I think it was incredible last season,
yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I suppose at the end of the day as well, the difference with Arsenal and Man City is, and I know, of course, Arsenal do have a few ex-City players in their team, but the City players, majority of them, know how to get things done over the line, which Arsenal haven't yet been able to achieve with this current squad in terms of a Premier League title. But there's always a first time, so you never know. It could still be a good season to come for them. We should say that they had another pre-season friendly overnight. They faced Manchester United. It went the way of the Red Devils, who won 2-0. Both sides named strong lineups for this clash that comes, 3 weeks before the start of the Premier League? But there were goals. I should say Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Jurien Timber, all handed first Arsenal starts in that pre-season game, but ultimately it was Manchester United that won it. I think they even did a little penalty shootout afterwards, even though United had won it within the 90 minutes, but just because I think it's in America, they did a little shootout and United won that shootout as well. But anyway, it's all about building up, as you mentioned earlier on, building up, getting that fitness and everything like that ahead of the new season.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.